I enter into the divine will, and I compassionate you, my God, in the sorrow you experienced when the new Pharaoh of Egypt views the Israelites as a threat, and your wisdom and providence allows him to brutally enslave them and put them into forced labor. I keep you company as he commands that all Israelite boys be drowned in the river. In this act of the Pharaoh ordering all boys to be placed into the river, you see all of the crimes throughout all of the centuries committed against children, specifically the crimes in which children are slaughtered for selfish purposes. You foresee the moment in which King Herod, upon hearing about your birth, Jesus, from the Magi, orders the death of all boys under the age of 2 because he is threatened about the prophecy that you would be king. I enter into this moment of the Israelite boys being drowned in the river, and all of the moments in which children are killed. I enter into the moment in which King Herod ordered the death of all those boys, and I enter into each and every abortion, past, present, and future. I enter into each and every child sacrifice, past, present, and future, every time a child's life is taken because of the selfishness of adults. And I pour the reparations that our Blessed Mother made, the sorrows that she experienced when she was forced to flee into Egypt together with you and Saint Joseph. She repaired for the grievous slaughter that was happening to all of the children with the sorrows she experienced in that moment. And so I cover the whole world with our Blessed Mother's sorrows, and I repair for all of these sins. I also repair for the selfishness of all leaders, past, present, and future, by offering you, Jesus, the reparations that you made during your passion, in which you were brought before the ruler Herod, the governor of Galilee, during your passion, and he didn't want to recognize you for who you were, so he mocked you, he called you crazy, and he had you dressed as a madman, and all of the people in the court laughed at you. And in this moment, Jesus, as the soldiers take advantage of you, throw you to the ground, trample you, cover you with spit, ridicule you, and beat you with sticks, you offer reparation for all the ambition of kings who aspire to kingdoms and who thus cause the ruin of peoples. You repair for all massacres that they cause and for the blood that they spill in order to satisfy their whims. You also repair for all the sins of curiosity and for the sins that are committed in courts and in armies. And so, Jesus, I offer you all of the beautiful reparations you made during this moment in your passion, in which you are placed before this unjust ruler. And I pour these graces into the hearts of all rulers, past, present, and future, in a special way those who are alive right now, so that they may be given the grace to convert and turn from their evil ways. May all of the world hail you as Jesus Christ, King of the universe. I praise your divine providence, Lord, as a woman from the house of Levi named Jochebed, which means Yahweh is glory, wants to save her child's life. She places her baby boy in a basket and floats him down the Nile River, where he is found by Pharaoh's daughter. As she draws him out of the river, she names him Moses, which means drawn out, and she raises him as her own son. In this act of Moses being drawn out of the water, Most Holy Trinity, I pray that you would draw all souls out of the death of the human will. I glorify you, Holy Spirit, as you inspire little Miriam, Moses' sister, who was watching from afar, to approach the Pharaoh's daughter and offer to find a Hebrew woman to nurse him. When the princess agrees, Miriam brings her Moses' mother, who nurses the child during the early years of his life. I follow you, divine will, as Moses has grown older and witnesses the brutality that is shown to his people. One day, while observing a slave driver mercilessly beating a Hebrew slave, he strikes the Egyptian slave driver and kills him, hiding his body in the sand. A few days later, Moses observes two Hebrews fighting each other. He approaches them and says to the one who has done wrong, "Why do you strike your fellow?" The Hebrew replied, "Who made you a prince and a judge over us? Do you mean to kill me as you killed the Egyptian?" At this, Moses was afraid and thought, "Surely the thing is known." And when Pharaoh heard of it, he sought to kill Moses. So Moses fled from Egypt and stayed in the land of Midian. One day, while he was sitting near the well, 7 daughters of the pagan priests of Midian came by to water their father's flock. When some of the shepherds came by to drive them away, Moses defended them and watered their flock. When the daughters told their father what had happened, he had Moses come to dwell with him, and gave him his daughter Zipporah as a wife. She bore Moses a son whom he named Gershom, for he said, "I have been a sojourner in a foreign land." She also bore him Eleazar, which means, "God is my help." Now, Moses was keeping the flock of his father-in-law Jethro, the priest of Midian, and he led his flock to the west side of the wilderness and came to Horeb, the mountain of God. And the angel of the Lord appeared to him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush, and he looked, and lo, the bush was burning, yet it was not consumed. And Moses said, "I will turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burnt." When the Lord saw that he turned aside to see, God called to him out of the bush, "Moses, Moses." And he said, "Here am I." Then he said, "Do not come near. Put off your shoes from your feet, for the place on which you are standing is holy ground." And he said, "I am the God of your father, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob." And Moses hid his face, for he was afraid to look at God. Then the Lord said, "I have seen the affliction of my people who are in Egypt, and have heard their cry because of their taskmasters. I know their sufferings. And I have come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptians, and to bring them up out of that land to a good and broad land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Come, I will send you to Pharaoh, that you may bring forth my people, the sons of Israel, out of Egypt." But Moses said to God, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh and bring the sons of Israel out of Egypt?" He said, "But I will be with you, and this shall be the sign for you that I have sent you. When you have brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve God upon this mountain." I love you, I adore you, I glorify you, I praise you, I thank you, and I bless you, most holy Trinity, as you drew Moses out of the land of Egypt and up onto a high mountain in your presence. Within this act of your drawing Moses close to yourself, I pray you to draw all souls out of the Egypt of their human will and up into the heaven of your divine will. I keep you company, Holy Trinity, as Moses spoke these words to you. If I come to the people of Israel and say to them, "The God of your fathers has sent me to you," and they ask me, "What is his name?" what shall I say to them? And you said to Moses, "I am who am." Say this to the people of Israel, "I am has sent me to you." Say also this, "The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob has sent me to you. This is my name forever, and thus I am to be remembered throughout all generations. Go, and gather the elders of Israel together, and say to them, The Lord, the God of your fathers, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, has appeared to me, saying, I have observed you and what has been done to you in Egypt, and I promise that I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt to the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, a land flowing with milk and honey. And they will hearken to your voice, and you and the elders of Israel shall go to the king of Egypt and say to him, The Lord, the God of the Hebrews, has met with us. And now, we pray you, let us go a 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to the Lord our God. I know that the king of Egypt will not let you go unless compelled by a mighty hand. So I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all the wonders which I will do in it. After that he will let you go." Then Moses answered, "But behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice, for they will say, 'The Lord did not appear to you.'" The Lord said to him, "What is that in your hand?" He said, "A rod." And he said, "Cast it on the ground." So he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moses fled from it. But the Lord said to Moses, "Put out your hand and take it by the tail." So he put out his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. But Moses said to the Lord, "O my Lord, I am not eloquent, I am slow of speech and tongue." Then the Lord said to him, "Who has made man's mouth? Who makes him dumb or deaf or seeing or blind? Is it not I, the Lord? Now therefore go, and I will be with your mouth, and teach you what you shall speak." But he said, "O my Lord, send, I pray, some other person." Then the anger of the Lord was kindled against Moses, and he said, "Is there not Aaron, your brother, the Levite? I know that he can speak well, and behold, he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, he will be glad in his heart. And you shall speak to him, and put the words in his mouth, and I will be your mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do. He shall speak to you for the people, and he shall be a mouth for you, and you shall be to him as God. And you shall take in your hand this rod, with which you shall do the signs." So Moses took his family and returned to Egypt with the blessing of his father-in-law Jethro. The Lord let him know that the people who had sought to kill him had died, and he said to Moses, "When you go back to Egypt, see that you do before Pharaoh all the miracles which I have put in your power, and you shall say to Pharaoh, 'Thus says the Lord, Israel is my firstborn son, and I say to you, let my son go that he may serve me. If you refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay your firstborn son.' I glorify your justice and your mercy, Lord, when, at a lodging place on the way, the Lord met Moses and sought to kill him, since his son had not been circumcised. Then Zipporah, Moses' wife, took a flint and cut off her son's foreskin and touched Moses' feet with it and said, 'Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me.' So God let him alone. I enter into the moment in which the Lord said to Aaron, 'Go into the wilderness to meet Moses.' So he went and met him at the mountain of God and kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all the words of the Lord which he had sent him, and all the signs which he had charged him to do. Then Moses and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the people of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which the Lord had spoken to Moses, and did the signs in the sight of the people. I profoundly adore you, most holy Trinity, in the moment in which the people believed, and when they heard that the Lord had visited the people of Israel, and that he had seen their affliction, they bowed their heads and worshipped. I follow you, my God, as Moses and Aaron enter the palace of Pharaoh and tell him, 'Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, let my people go, that they may hold a feast to me in the wilderness.' But Pharaoh said, 'Who is the Lord that I should heed his voice and let Israel go? I do not know the Lord, and moreover I will not let Israel go.' And because of this, Pharaoh increased the burden of the Israelites. Discouraged, Lord, Moses goes to you and says, 'Why have you done evil to your people? Why did you ever send me?' But you answer him, 'Now you shall see what I will do to Pharaoh. For with a strong hand he will send them out. Yea, with a strong hand he will drive them out of his land. I am the Lord. I appeared to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob as God Almighty. But my name, the Lord, I did not make myself known to them. I also established my covenant with them, to give them the land of Canaan, the land in which they dwelt as sojourners. Moreover, I have heard the groaning of the people of Israel, whom the Egyptians hold in bondage, and I have remembered my covenant. Say therefore to the people of Israel, I am the Lord, and I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians, and I will deliver you from their bondage, and I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great acts of judgment. And I will take you from my people, and I will be your God, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God, who has brought you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. And I will bring you into the land which I swore to give to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. I will give it to you for a possession. I am the Lord. Moses spoke all of this to the people of Israel, but this time they did not listen to him because of their broken spirit and their cruel bondage. I enter into the hearts of all souls, past, present, and future, who have struggled to believe in you, Lord, and who are falling into despair and discouragement because things don't seem to be going their way, because of darkness, because they don't feel your consoling presence. And I pour the reparations and the sufferings you made in the Garden of Gethsemane, Lord, in which you prayed and remained faithful to the Eternal Father in the midst of the most atrocious sufferings and the most horrible darkness, and in the midst of the abandonment of all of your apostles. And I pour these reparations that you made in the garden into all of these hearts who are falling into despair, so that they may receive the light to remember your promise and to trust you despite the darkness that surrounds them. I follow you, Most Holy Trinity, as you send Moses and Aaron once again into the palace of Pharaoh, working miracles before him to show your power. But Pharaoh sends for his Egyptian magicians, and the demons work signs and wonders through them also. Because the magicians can also perform some of the signs and wonders, Pharaoh's heart is hardened, and he refuses to let your people go. Jesus, I enter into the sufferings of your Sacred Heart, and I make reparation to you for all the times that souls past, present, and future have sought after demonic power and have refused to respond to your goodness. I pour your own reparations into all of these hearts so that they may be given the grace to recognize you for who you are and to not turn to flashy, demonic, magic powers or witchcraft, but instead to respond to the gentle call of grace, the sweetness of your love, Jesus, that does not force yourself upon anybody, but is always calling. May all souls recognize you for who you are. And may all souls who are engaging in witchcraft, past, present, and future, be given the grace, the same graces that were given to St. Paul during his conversion on the road to Damascus, the grace to recognize you for who you are and to turn aside from their evil ways and worship you as the one true God. Sovereign ruler of the universe, I keep you company in the act in which you gave Pharaoh 10 generous opportunities to change his mind and do the right thing in the midst of the 10 plagues that you sent, but he hardened his heart towards you every time. With this act of you sending the 10 plagues, I pray that, just as you had mercy on the Egyptians by sending them chastisements as a warning, have mercy on our world. Chastise us in a way that is necessary for us to surrender to you. Dispose us to surrender to you in humility, so that you may grant us the great gift of living in your divine will. Take the human will by storm and renew the face of the earth. I follow you, Eternal Father, in the moment in which you came to Moses and Aaron before sending the final plague upon the land of Egypt, the death of the firstborn sons. You gave them instructions on how the children of Israel were to remain under your divine protection in the midst of this dreadful plague. I enter into the words you spoke to them. This month shall be for you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year for you. Tell all the congregation of Israel that on the 10th day of this month they shall take, every man, a lamb according to their fathers' houses, a lamb for a household. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male, a year old. You shall take it from the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it until the 14th day of this month, when the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill their lambs in the evening. Then they shall take some of the blood, and put it on the 2 doorposts and the lintel of the houses in which they eat them. They shall eat the flesh that night, roasted. With unleavened bread and bitter herbs they shall eat it. Do not eat any of it raw or boiled with water, but roasted, its head and its legs and its inner parts. And you shall let none of it remain until the morning. Anything that remains until the morning you shall burn. In this manner you shall eat it, your loins girded, your sandals on your feet, and your staff in your hand, and you shall eat it in haste. It is the Lord's Passover. For I will pass through the land of Egypt that night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and on all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgments. I am the Lord. The blood shall be a sign for you upon the houses where you are, and when I see the blood I will pass over you, and no plague shall fall upon you to destroy you, when I smite the land of Egypt. This day shall be for you a memorial day, and you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord. Throughout your generations you shall observe it as an ordinance forever. This is the feast of Passover. Holy Trinity, you also institute the feast of unleavened bread at this time, commanding Moses and Aaron that every year the Israelites must eat unleavened bread for 7 days. During this time, no leaven must be found in the house, and they must tell their sons, "It is because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt." You also command that for the generations to come, every firstborn male, both man and beast, must be consecrated to you, and they must also be ransomed or redeemed by killing a lamb in its place. And when the time comes and your son asks you, "What does this mean?" you shall say to him, "By strength of hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, from the house of bondage. For when Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let us go, the Lord slew all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both the firstborn of man and the firstborn of cattle. Therefore I sacrifice to the Lord all the males that first open the womb, but all the firstborn of my sons I redeem." I keep you company, Jesus, as Moses and Aaron tell the Israelites what you have commanded them to do. They bowed their heads and worshipped, and they did what they were told. So the angel of death passed over the houses on which the blood of the Lamb was found. I enter into the most holy divine will, and with the infinite power of God, I take this act of obedience of the Israelites, spreading the blood of the Lamb upon their houses, and I use it as a prayer, beseeching grace for more souls to accept your mercy, Jesus, and to allow themselves to be covered in your saving blood, even in the midst of their imperfection and sin. I enter into the blood that you shed during the Garden of Gethsemane, Jesus, and I go around to all souls past, present, and future, and I smear it upon their hearts. Just as the Israelites covered the doors of their houses, I cover all souls in your precious blood, so that they may be given graces to surrender to your mercy, and that they may be infused with a desire to love and serve you for all eternity. At midnight, the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh, who sat on his throne, to the firstborn of the captive who was in the dungeon, and all the firstborn of the cattle. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants, and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where one was not dead. And he summoned Moses and Aaron by night, and said, "Rise up, go forth from among my people, both you and the people of Israel, and go, serve the Lord as you have said." I follow you, most compassionate Father, as you led the Israelites out of Egypt, not by the most convenient path, by way of the Philistines, since there was a war there, lest the Israelites run back to Egypt when they saw it, but you led them by way of the wilderness toward the Red Sea. And Moses took the bones of Joseph with him, for Joseph had solemnly sworn the people of Israel, saying, God will visit you. Then you must carry my bones with you from here. And the Lord went before the Israelites by day in a pillar of cloud to lead them along the way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, that they might travel by day and by night. The pillar of cloud by day and the pillar of fire by night did not part from before the people. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, the mind of Pharaoh and his servants was changed toward the people, and they said, What is this we have done, that we have let Israel go from serving us? And the Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, and he pursued the people of Israel as they went forth defiantly. The Egyptians pursued them, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and his horsemen and his army, and overtook them and camped at the sea. When Pharaoh drew near, the people of Israel lifted up their eyes, and behold, the Egyptians were marching after them, and they were in great fear. And the people of Israel cried out to the Lord. And they said to Moses, Is it because there are no graves in Egypt that you have taken us away to die in the wilderness? And Moses said to the people, Fear not, stand firm, and see the salvation of the Lord which he will work for you today. For the Egyptians whom you see today, you shall never see again. The Lord will fight for you, and you have only to be still. I take these words that Moses spoke, the Spirit of the Lord that spoke through him, and I go around to all souls who are in fear, who are anxious, and who are restless, not knowing what to do, and I speak these words, Peace, be still. The Lord will fight for you, you have only to be still. And I pour graces into all hearts, graces of steadfastness. I pour the consolation and the strength of the Holy Spirit into these souls that are anxious and worried, and I remind them that our God is a God who works wonders. Our God is a God who takes care of us. We have only to be little children. We need only to trust in Him and believe that He will see us through and take care of every aspect of our lives if we only surrender them to Him. As the people of Israel cried out in fear, for they were caught between the approaching army of Pharaoh and the vastness of the sea in front of them, the Lord said to Moses, Lift up your rod and stretch out your hand over the sea and divide it, that the people of Israel may go on dry ground through the sea. Then the angel of God who went before the host of Israel moved and went behind them, and the pillar of cloud moved from before them and stood behind them, coming between the host of Egypt and the host of Israel. And there was the cloud and the darkness, and the night passed without one coming near the other all night. Then Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and the Lord drove the sea back by a strong east wind all night, and made the sea dry land, and the waters were divided. And the people of Israel went into the midst of the sea on dry ground, the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. The Egyptians pursued and went in after them into the midst of the sea, all Pharaoh's horses, his chariots, and his horsemen. Then the Lord said to Moses, Stretch out your hand over the sea, that the water may come back upon the Egyptians, upon their chariots, and upon their horsemen. So Moses stretched forth his hand over the sea, and the sea returned to its wonted flow when the morning appeared, and the Egyptians fled into it. And the Lord routed the Egyptians in the midst of the sea. The waters returned and covered the chariots and the horsemen and all the hosts of Pharaoh that had followed them into the sea. Not so much as one of them remained. But the people of Israel walked on dry ground through the sea, the waters being a wall to them on their right hand and on their left. Thus the Lord saved Israel that day from the hand of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians dead upon the seashore. And Israel saw the great work which the Lord did against the Egyptians, and the people feared the Lord, and they believed in the Lord and in his servant Moses. Most Holy Trinity, sovereign ruler of the universe, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, the God of Jacob, I love you, I adore you, I glorify you, I praise you, and I thank you, and I bless you within the celebration and praise that the Israelites made to you when they saw what you had done for them. I enter into the song that Miriam led the women in singing with timbrel and dancing. Sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. I enter into the song that Moses and the entire assembly of Israel sang to you, Lord. I make it my own, and I praise you on behalf of all souls past, present, and future, in the moments in which you worked wonders for them, whether they realized it or not, and I repair you for all the times that souls have failed to thank you for the great marvels that you worked for them. I enter into the song of Israel and sing to you with your own infinite thanksgiving, Lord. I will sing to the Lord, for he has triumphed gloriously. The horse and his rider he has thrown into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my song, and he has become my salvation. This is my God, and I will praise him, my Father's God, and I will exalt him. The Lord is a man of war, the Lord is his name. Pharaoh's chariots and his host he cast into the sea, and his picked officers are sunk in the Red Sea. The floods cover them, they went down into the depths like a stone. Thy right hand, O Lord, glorious in power, thy right hand, O Lord, shatters the enemy. In the greatness of thy majesty thou overthrowest thy adversaries. Thou sendest forth thy fury, it consumes them like stubble. At the blast of thy nostrils the waters piled up, the floods stood up in a heap, the deeps congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I will pursue, I will overtake, I will divide the spoil, my desire shall have its fill of them, I will draw my sword, my hand shall destroy them. Thou didst blow with thy wind, the sea covered them, they sink as lead in the mighty waters. Who is like thee, O Lord, among the gods? Who is like thee, majestic in holiness, terrible in glorious deeds, doing wonders? Thou didst stretch out thy right hand, the earth swallowed them. Thou hast led in thy steadfast love the people whom thou hast redeemed. Thou hast guided them by thy strength to thy holy abode. The peoples have heard and they tremble. Pangs have seized on the inhabitants of Philistia. Now are the chiefs of Edom dismayed. The leaders of Moab, trembling seizes them. All the inhabitants of Canaan have melted away. Terror and dread fall upon them. Because of the greatness of thy arm, they are as still as a stone, till thy people, O Lord, pass by, till the peoples pass by whom thou hast purchased. Thou wilt bring them in, and plant them on thy own mountain, the place, O Lord, which thou hast made for thy abode, the sanctuary, O Lord, which thy hands have established. The Lord will reign forever and ever. I compassionate you, most Holy Trinity, when, just a little while after having sang this song of thanksgiving to you for having split the Red Sea and led them into safety, Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elim and Sinai, on the 15th day of the 2nd month after they had departed from the land of Egypt. And the whole congregation of the people of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron, saying, Would that we had died by the hand of the Lord in the land of Egypt, when we sat by the flesh pots and ate bread to the full. For you have brought us out into this wilderness to kill this whole assembly with hunger. Then the Lord said to Moses, I have heard the murmurings of the people of Israel. Say to them, At twilight you shall eat flesh, and in the morning you shall be filled with bread, and you shall know that I am the Lord your God. In the evening quails came up and covered the camp, and in the morning dew lay round about the camp. And when the dew had gone up, there was on the face of the wilderness a fine flake-like thing, fine as hoarfrost on the ground. When the people of Israel saw it, they said to one another, What is it? For they did not know what it was. And Moses said to them, It is the bread which the Lord has given you to eat. This is what the Lord has commanded. Gather it, every man of you, as much as he can eat. You shall take an omer apiece, according to the number of the persons whom each of you has in his tent. And the people of Israel did so. They gathered some more, some less. But when they measured it with an omer, he that gathered much had nothing over, and he that gathered little had no lack. Each gathered according to what he could eat. And Moses said to them, Let no man leave any of it till the morning. But they did not listen to Moses. Some left part of it till morning, and it bred worms and became foul. And Moses was angry with them. On the 6th day of the week they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers apiece. And when all the leaders of the congregation came and told Moses, he said to them, This is what the Lord has commanded. Tomorrow is a day of solemn rest, a holy Sabbath to the Lord. Bake what you will bake, and boil what you will boil, and all that is left over lay to be kept till the morning. So they laid it by till the morning, as Moses bade them, and it did not become foul, and there were no worms in it. Moses said, Eat it today, for today is a Sabbath to the Lord. Today you will not find it in the field. 6 days you shall gather it, but on the 7th day, which is a Sabbath, there will be none. On the 7th day some of the people went out to gather, and they found none. And the Lord said to Moses, How long do you refuse to keep my commandments and my laws? See, the Lord has given you the Sabbath. Therefore on the 6th day he gives you bread for 2 days. Remain every man of you in his place. Let no man go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. Most Holy Trinity, I want to repair you for all the times past, present, and future in which we have not kept holy the Lord's Day. I repair you for all the times that all souls of all generations have treated Sunday like a day to party or like a day to do sports, but prioritizing that over going to Mass. I repair for all the times that souls have worked on Sunday when they didn't really have to, for all the times that souls have missed going to Mass on Sunday when they didn't really have to. I repair for all of this abuse of the Sabbath day by offering your perfect life that you lived, Jesus, in the house of Nazareth. I offer you, Most Holy Trinity, the perfect life and following of all the laws that the Holy Family, Jesus, Mary, and Joseph, did while they were in the house of Nazareth. And I also repair for all complaints, past, present, and future, from all of your children in the face of your goodness. All the times we've complained because we haven't been as comfortable as we would have wanted, or perhaps some aspect of your will is not what we would have desired or causes us to suffer. I repair for all of the complaints of all souls, past, present, and future, by offering the lack of complaint of the Holy Family when they were put into so many difficult situations, being forced to flee into Egypt, being forced to give birth to Jesus in a stable. I offer you the lives of poverty that they lived and the contempt that Jesus and Mary suffered when the scribes and the Pharisees persecuted Jesus and didn't recognize him. And ultimately, I offer you the sorrow of Jesus and Mary when Jesus was crucified by the leaders of Israel who should have recognized him. I repair for all of the petty complaints, past, present, and future, by offering the fact that Jesus and Mary did not complain when they actually had a right to, when there was actually a grave injustice happening. They remained silent. And this repairs for all complaints, past, present, and future. And I offer you these reparations, Jesus, Father, Holy Spirit. I make them rise before your throne, covering all of the complaints of all generations, all the disobedience of all laws, past, present, and future. And I beseech graces for mankind to want to convert, to want to unite themselves to you, and to offer their sufferings for your glory, to obey the holy law for your glory. I pour graces of humility into the hearts of all souls, and I beseech that through these reparations, they may be disposed to live in your divine will. Now the house of Israel called the miraculous bread that fell down from heaven manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and the taste of it was like wafers made with honey. And Moses said, "This is what the Lord has commanded. Let an omer of it be kept throughout your generations, that they may see the bread with which I fed you in the wilderness when I brought you out of the land of Egypt." And Moses said to Aaron, "Take a jar, and put an omer of manna in it, and place it before the Lord to be kept throughout your generations." As the Lord commanded Moses, so Aaron placed it before the testimony to be kept. I glorify and praise your miraculous providence, most holy Trinity, in the act of sending down miraculous bread to the Israelites, and also in your act of sending miraculous bread, the Eucharist, and consecrating yourself to truly dwell within us. And I thank you in the name of all creatures, past, present, and future, for the fact that you have preserved Eucharistic miracles from around the world for all people to come to recognize you if they want. I glorify your exuberant generosity in making yourself present within each and every host, and I glorify you and I praise you in each and every place where these Eucharistic miracles are preserved and kept for the people, to be a testimony to them of your true living presence among us. And I repair you for the fact that the whole world does not recognize you in the Eucharist. I repair you for the fact that even many Catholics don't truly believe in your presence in the Eucharist, even though you've gone above and beyond to reveal to us that you are truly present in the bread and in the wine. I thank you for the undeserved privilege that I have to be in your Eucharistic presence as often as I want to be. I repair you for all the times that I haven't taken full advantage of your presence in the Eucharist by offering you the steadfast love of our Blessed Mother, who sought to worship and adore you with all her heart and who never wasted any of your graces. And I pour her love and profound adoration into the hearts of all souls, and I cover over them. I cover over each and every ingratitude, each and every lack of recognition of your true presence. I offer the life of Carlo Acutis, redone in the divine will, and the great love that he had for you in the Eucharist. And with his life, I pour down graces of recognition so that more souls may come to realize the truth of the Catholic faith and long to worship you in the Eucharist. I follow you, divine will, in the moment in which the people of Israel grumbled against you through their grumblings against Moses, complaining that you had led them into the wilderness to die, since there was no water to drink. So you commanded Moses to strike a rock in the presence of the elders of Israel. He struck the rock, and water gushed forth for the people to drink. And Moses called the name of the place Massah and Meribah, because of the fault-finding of the children of Israel, and because they put the Lord to the test by saying, "Is the Lord among us or not?" I glorify your power, most holy Trinity, as the nation of Amalek, who were descendants of Esau, attacked Israel at Rephidim, and Moses said to Joshua, who was his assistant and military leader, "Choose for us men, and go out, fight with Amalek. Tomorrow I will stand on the top of the hill with the rod of God in my hand." So Joshua did as Moses told him, and fought with Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. Whenever Moses held up his hand, Israel prevailed, and whenever he lowered his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moses' hands grew weary, so they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat upon it. And Aaron and Hur held up his hands, one on one side and the other on the other side, so his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua mowed down Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And the Lord said to Moses, "Write this as a memorial in a book, and recite it in the ears of Joshua, that I will utterly blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven." And Moses built an altar and called the name of it, "The Lord is my banner," saying, "A hand upon the banner of the Lord. the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. I love and adore you, Most Holy Trinity, in the power and the strength that you show to your children in your fighting on behalf of us. And I thank you for the simplicity with which you ask us to follow you in the fact that you called Moses up to the top of the mountain to simply hold his hands up over the battle that was happening, and that was the way that you poured forth your power and brought your children to victory. And even when his hands grew too tired to be able to hold themselves up, you allowed for two helpers to hold up his hands for him, and all he had to do was sit on a rock and be supported by the people around him. I thank you for the gift of companionship, and I want to take this act of Moses allowing himself to be supported by Aaron and Hur, and trusting in your faithfulness to win the battle with such a simple act of him having his hands raised. And I glorify your mercy and your compassion and your greatness, Lord, that chooses the weak things of the world to shame the proud. And I go around to all souls who are struggling with self-reliance and who strive to do big things, and many times to try to do big things for you without help from anybody else. And I pour graces of humility, docility, and childlike joy and faith into their hearts so that they may open their eyes to what you really want from them, which probably isn't to do great, grand things. And may you bring souls into their lives who will walk with them and help them and support them in the mission that you've entrusted to them. May all the children of the divine will come together and support each other as we enter into the mission that you've called us to of praying these rounds and living fused with you and calling down this kingdom. May there be greater peace and harmony within the divine will community, and may we all grow smaller and smaller as little children and strive not to do great things apart from you, but to do small things with great love and trust, and to accept help and support whenever your goodness offers it to us. I glorify you, I praise you, I thank you, and I bless you, my God, in the moment in which Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, the pagan priest of Midian, had heard what the God of Israel had done, leading them up out of the land of Egypt and demonstrating great power. He came to meet Moses, embraced him, and rejoiced over what the Lord had done. He said, "Blessed be the Lord, who has delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians and out of the hand of Pharaoh. Now I know that the Lord is greater than all gods, because he delivered the people from under the hand of the Egyptians when they dealt arrogantly with them." And Jethro, Moses' father-in-law, offered a burnt offering and sacrifices to God. And Aaron came with all the elders of Israel to eat bread with Moses' father-in-law before God. I enter into this moment of Jethro glorifying the one true God of Israel, and I offer it to you, Most Holy Trinity, in reparation for all souls who follow false gods, all souls who are even Christian and have idols before you, God. I offer this act of Jethro worshiping you in reparation for all souls, past, present, and future, who practice witchcraft, the occult, for souls who are wrapped up in New Age spirituality, for souls who worship pagan gods who are actually demons, for souls who are obsessed with the demonic and engage in any practices that offend you. I offer you this conversion of Jethro, and with this act of him responding to your grace, I pour graces of conversion into all souls like him, past, present, and future, who have not known you, God, but who would want to know you if given the chance. May all those who worship false gods in any way, open their eyes to the truth of who you are and be a testimony to those around them that the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob is the sovereign ruler of the universe and is worthy to be worshipped and praised. I enter into the moment in which Jethro witnessed Moses attending to the people of Israel, who stood before him from morning till evening with their disputes. And Jethro said to Moses, "What you are doing is not good. You and the people with you will wear yourselves out, for the thing is too heavy for you. You are not able to perform it alone. Listen to my voice. I will give you counsel, and God be with you. You shall represent the people before God and bring their cases to God, and you shall teach them the statutes and the decisions and make them know the way in which they must walk and what they must do. Moreover, choose able men from all the people, such as fear God, men who are trustworthy and who hate a bribe, and place such men over the people as rulers of thousands, of hundreds, of fifties, and of tens, and let them judge the people at all times. Every great matter they shall bring to you, but any small matter they shall decide themselves, so it will be easier for you, and they will bear the burden with you. If you do this, and God so commands you, then you will be able to endure, and all this people also will go to their place in peace." So Moses gave heed to the voice of his father-in-law, and did all that he had said. With this act of humility of Moses in listening to wise counsel from someone older than him, I repair for all pride and all leaders, past, present, and future, by offering this humility of Moses and accepting the advice. And I, in a special way, want to repair for all pride in religious leaders who think that they are so holy and close to God as to be above any sort of advice. For Moses, being the one who has visions of God and led the Israelites out of Egypt, he could have easily fallen into pride of, "Oh, I don't need to listen to this pagan priest from Midian." But instead he was humble, and he accepted so easily and simply the advice of his father-in-law. And so with this act of Moses' humility and docility, I pour graces of docility into all hearts so that we may have the wisdom to be able to see where God is speaking to us through the people around us. I follow you, most holy Trinity, as you lead Israel to the foot of Mount Sinai, saying to Moses, "Go to the people and consecrate them today and tomorrow, and let them wash their garments and be ready by the third day. For on the third day the Lord will come down upon Mount Sinai in the sight of all the people. And you shall set bounds for the people round about, saying, Take heed that you do not go up into the mountain or touch the border of it. Whoever touches the mountain shall be put to death." On the morning of the third day, there were thunders and lightnings, and a thick cloud upon the mountain, and a very loud trumpet blast, so that all the people who were in the camp trembled. Then Moses brought the people out of the camp to meet God, and they took their stand at the foot of the mountain. And Mount Sinai was wrapped in smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire, and the smoke of it went up like the smoke of a kiln, and the whole mountain quaked greatly. And God spoke all these words, saying, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself a graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them or serve them, for I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the third and the fourth generation to those who hate me, but showing steadfast love to thousands of those who love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Remember the Sabbath day, to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. In it you shall not do any work, you or your son, or your daughter, your manservant or your maidservant, or your cattle, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested on the 7th day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long in the land which the Lord your God gives you. You shall not kill. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his manservant, or his maidservant, or his ox, or his ass, or anything that is your neighbor's. Now, when all the people perceived the thunderings and the lightnings and the sound of the trumpet and the mountain smoking, the people were afraid and trembled, and they stood afar off, and said to Moses, You speak to us, and we will hear, but let not God speak to us, lest we die. And Moses said to the people, Do not fear, for God has come to prove you, and that the fear of him may be before your eyes, that you may not sin. So the people of Israel, filled with holy fear, agreed to these terms, these 10 commandments that you have set, Lord, and enter into a solemn covenant with you, in which you promise to make them a kingdom of priests in the light of the nations. They offer a sacrifice to you in order to ratify this covenant, and Moses sprinkles them with the blood of the animals. With the solemnity of this sacrifice, they eagerly promise to be obedient to your commands. I keep you company, sovereign Lord, as you, from the cloud that settled upon Mount Sinai, call Moses up to the top of the mountain with you, where he remains for 40 days and 40 nights. Upon this mountain you engrave for him upon 2 stone tablets the 10 commandments you had given to the people of Israel. You also tell him that you want Israel to build you a sanctuary so that you may dwell among them. You give him specific instructions on how to build the tabernacle and the Ark of the Covenant, and this temple is a symbol for the Garden of Eden. I love you, I adore you, I glorify you, I praise you, I thank you, I bless you, Most Holy Trinity, in your desire to be close to your people, in your generosity in wanting to dwell with us, poor creatures who are entirely dependent on you. And I thank you in the name of all creatures past, present, and future for the gift that it is for you to dwell in our presence. I love you on behalf of all. In addition to wanting to dwell with the Israelites through the Ark of the Covenant, through this temple, you also establish a hereditary, mediated, and holy line of people to serve in the tabernacle. You ordain Aaron and all of his male descendants to serve as priests, to perform sacrifices, and to act as mediators between God and Israel. This priestly line is called to the highest level of moral integrity and ritual holiness because the priests represent the people before God, and they also represent God to the people. I compassionate you, Most Holy Trinity, as while Moses is upon the mountain for 40 days, receiving the blueprints for the tabernacle, the Israelites lose their patience, and breaking the covenant they had just made, they ask Aaron to build for them a golden calf to worship, which he does. While Moses is upon the mountain, you confide in him your anger and your sorrow, Lord, over the sin of the people that is happening below, while you are trying to give them outstanding blessings. You tell Moses that you want to destroy them all. You're justly angered at them. You want to destroy them all, and you want to make Moses alone a great nation. but he intercedes before you on behalf of the people, reminding you of your faithfulness in leading them out of the land of Egypt, as well as the promise you made to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. You, Lord, mercifully hear the prayer of your servant Moses, and decide not to destroy Israel. When Moses descends the mountain and witnesses the singing and dancing of the people, he burns with anger and breaks the stone tablets on the ground. Taking the calf the Israelites have made, he burns it with fire, sprinkles the ashes into the water, and makes the Israelites drink it. He then stands at the gate of the camp and shouts, "Whoever is for the Lord, come to me." All the Levites then rallied to him, and he told them, "Thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, each of you put your sword on your hip. Go back and forth through the camp from gate to gate, and kill your brothers, your friends, your neighbors." The Levites did as Moses had commanded, and that day about 3,000 of the people fell. Then Moses said, "Today you are installed as priests for the Lord, for you went against your own sons and brothers to bring a blessing upon yourselves this day." Because of the rebellion of the people of Israel, and the fact that when Moses called out and asked who is for the Lord, and the only people who came to him were the Levites, God rewards the faithfulness of the Levites in this moment. The ordinance that God had given to Moses and Aaron before the Passover, the ordinance that every firstborn male of the Israelites would be consecrated to the Lord, is now done away with because of the Israelites' unfaithfulness, and that special status of being consecrated to the Lord, of serving in the temple, is now transferred over to the Levites. Only the male descendants of Aaron, who are also in the tribe of Levi, are to be priests in the temple, but all the males from the tribe of Levi are to serve in the temple as assistants to the priests, performing sacred duties. I glorify your mercy, Lord, in the fact that, in your justice, you were angry enough with Aaron for setting up the golden calf to destroy him, but you listened to the prayer of Moses on his behalf and forgave his sin, and you did not take away his calling to be high priest. Aaron's sin was not one of malice against you, but of weakness, much like Pilate, who did not want to sentence you to death, but felt he had no choice because of the malice of the Israelites. So Aaron felt he had no choice because of the malice of the Israelites. I want to enter into this prayer of Moses as he intercedes on Aaron's behalf. I make this prayer my own, and I offer it on behalf of all souls that you've called to a high position, most especially for all priests who have failed in their duty in one way or another. I intercede for the effeminacy in church leaders, the effeminacy of fathers in homes, past, present, and future, by pouring the tears that Jesus shed over his apostles during the Last Supper into their hearts, so that they may be strengthened and filled with a love and zeal for God's house that is so powerful that they would be able to withstand anything, that they would be filled with invincible and holy courage to be able to stand strong against the influence of the people under their care. Because of the gravity of the sin of your people, Lord, you confide in Moses that you will no longer be traveling in their midst as they go up to the promised land, but will instead send an angel to guide them. But Moses pleads with you that you would graciously continue to dwell in the midst of Israel and let your glory fill the Ark of the Covenant as you had wanted. I glorify your compassion, Lord, as you respond to Moses that you will grant this request, because Moses has found favor with you and is your intimate friend. I enter into and make my own Moses' longing as he desires to see your face, and he asks you if you will show yourself to him. You grant Moses this favor of allowing him to see your glory, but only from behind, because the fullness of your glory no man could see and live. So you have him stand in the cleft of a rock as your glory passes him by. In your mercy you place your hand over his face so that he would not die in your presence, and, removing your hand after you have passed him by, you allow him to see your glory from behind. After passing through Moses and allowing him to see your glory, you have him bring to you a new set of stone tablets to replace the ones he had broken. Once again you engrave the covenant commands upon it, and you speak to him these words: "The Lord is merciful and gracious, slow to anger, abounding in covenant faithfulness. He forgives sin, but will not leave the wicked unpunished." Moses remained on the top of the mountain for 40 days and 40 nights, eating and drinking nothing. When he returned to the children of Israel with the 2 stone tablets in his hands, his face was radiantly glowing, which caused them to fear coming near him. Anytime he spoke with God from this point forward, his face would glow, so he began to wear a veil covering himself whenever he had to deal with the people. And so Moses began the work of having the tabernacle built, commanding that 6 days be given to work, but anyone who works on the Sabbath day must be put to death. I follow you, divine fiat, as Moses finishes the work of the tabernacle, symbol of God finishing the work of creation in the Garden of Eden. Then, once the work had been completed, the cloud covered the tent of meeting, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Moses, who represented all the sinful people of Israel, could not enter the tent of meeting, because the cloud had settled on it, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Because of their rebellion, the children of Israel were not able to stand in the presence of God. Sin had put up a wall between the Creator and his creature.